Okay, so in this workout tutorial, we're working the legs, but the back of the legs. So here are really great exercises that are not only going to help you get stronger, but they're also going to help with the daily rigors of life and help you maintain a pain-free body. So first off, we're coming to a glute bridge. Now here we're driving up off the floor and you're going to notice the pace here. We've got a lot of cues on the screen. I'm not necessarily going to go over those. I'm going to cover just with a little bit of extra coaching here. So as we drive up, we want to make sure we squeeze those glutes at the top and we're not trying to hyperextend or overarch the back at the top. We want to drive those feet into the floor. If they come further away from you, you're going to feel it more in your hamstrings. And if you bring them slightly closer to you, you're going to feel it more in the glutes or the butt. So here we want to make sure we're in control the whole time. Notice how I lower with control. I don't just come down to the ground and then thrust back up. So here what we've done on our slight variation is elevated the feet. I'm on 2 yoga blocks here. Again, if you bring the feet out a bit more, you're going to work the hamstrings, or bring them closer, you're going to work the glutes or the butt. But here you can also experiment with the height. I'm on 2 yoga blocks, but you could quite easily be on 4 yoga blocks or maybe even a chair. So this way you can find that level that works best for you to really work the glutes and the back of the legs in general. So there's 2 variations of a regular floor-based glute bridge. So we can move things on, as we will in a moment, by using a dumbbell. So we're going to do the same exercise here, but what we are doing is taking that dumbbell and placing it in the crease of the hips. That can be seen on the visual here. So it really parks its way in there. You can go up onto the thigh, but then you won't get as much resistance from that dumbbell. This tends to be the sweet spot in terms of driving up and using that weight as an extra resistance from which to drive from. So the actions are exactly the same. We're lying on the floor, looking up at the ceiling, and we're driving up with control and then lowering. That speed is really important. That time under tension is what is really going to help you get stronger and get the most from all of these exercises. So again, we can go over a few of the cues already mentioned in the previous glute bridge example. Essentially, it's the same as the glute bridge, except now with added resistance with the help of that dumbbell. Okay, as a little side note, if you really want to get the most from your workouts, then please check out the Longevity Movement Masterclass. All right, we're moving on. We're now onto the dumbbell elevated glute bridge. Now again, this is the same exercise, but we're really heightening the amount of resistance being felt here. I really love this version myself. So we've got those feet elevated. You can choose that level of elevation. You might want to raise it up onto a chair. I find that 2 yoga blocks works perfectly well, and that dumbbell adds resistance to this already excellent exercise. And this is really going to heighten the amount that you're going to feel this in the hamstrings, the glutes, and even in a very positive way, the lower back, as long as you remain in control the whole time. So we're going to progress things on, and we're going to keep to a glute bridge, but this time we're going to go onto a suspension trainer. Now this heightens things even more, mainly because of the lack of stability. So here you're having to work really hard. And as you can see by the diagram shown on the body here, I'm extending up, but I'm not hyperextending that body. My hips aren't going up towards the ceiling. We're getting up to a straight line and then we're squeezing those glutes and we're working really, really hard. Notice how the feet are moving around. This is what's creating the instability. So we're having to work very hard in this position. I like the hands above the head here. You can get a real good drive and notice the pace of movement. So as we do this, we are really having to work very hard indeed in the hamstrings, even the calf muscles and the glutes and the lower back are all having to work to control this movement. Now we can progress this on again, and we would do so by placing a dumbbell again in that hip crease. Now this really does take it all to another level, and you really have to keep control of this action. Work at a very slow pace that you control and drive through and really feel those muscles working. Don't hyperextend, squeeze the muscles, make them all work together, and this is really going to bulletproof you moving forward in your life. It really is a great version of the exercise, but progress to it as and when you are ready to do so. So there you have it. We've really exhausted our glute bridge work. So now what we're going to do is get up off of the floor and go into some of my other favorite exercises to work the back of the legs. In particular here, we're going to a Dumbbell RDL. Now this is a great exercise. Again, I've drawn all over my body here and you can see how the hips are coming back with that hip hinge. Please check out the Longevity Movement Masterclass. But also notice how much the knees are not moving. So whilst we're getting a knee bend, that is created by the hips coming back and we're then driving through from that position. I'm also using the floor. I'm really pushing my midfoot and my heels into the floor. The floor is your friend, particularly when you are working the back of the legs. Here we want to drive through, so the hips are going back and then they're coming forward and we're thrusting through, squeezing those glutes so I'm not hyperextending the back at the top. It's a very powerful position and this is a great way of using the dumbbells. And also we're keeping a nice neutral spine. Your version of the neutral spine will be different to mine. And that is going to keep you safe whilst doing this excellent movement. So here we're going to see the same exercise from the front. You can see how those dumbbells are traveling down by my knees and also staying very close to the body. So I'm looking just slightly in front of me here and then thrusting through and squeezing the glutes. Now, if you want to take this one step further, add in a band really excels this exercise. So here we've changed the strength curve just a little bit. The resistance of band is working slightly different to the dumbbells, and this is going to heighten the exercise even further. And you can really get a great hamstring and glute squeeze, particularly at the top of this exercise. So brace there and then slowly descend. Again, that time under tension, working that tempo without rushing things, but working explosively and really getting the most from your resistance workout. So again, we've come to the front here. You can see how I'm standing on the band and we've got it wrapped around the handles of the dumbbells. So now what we can do is take a wide leg stance for the banded RDL. Now I really love this version. Again, I've drawn all over my body to show what's going on here. We're getting the same mechanics going on, nice straight spine. The hips are coming back with that hip hinge and the knees are barely moving. Now with the wide leg stance here, we can really increase the glute engagement. As we drive through, you can get a really strong glute squeeze. Now, without any other equipment apart from your body and a band, this is a great way to work the back of the legs and even the lower back in a very positive way. And if that wasn't hard enough for you, then simply upgrade your resistance band to a stronger band to get even more from the exercise. Okay, final thoughts on all things legs. So here we've been focusing on the back of the legs and you have some great variations here that you can do from home or in a gym environment. As ever, find where you are personally at. If you need to make it slightly easier for yourself, then regress the level. Or if you need to come back the next day, then take a rest and do so.
So there you have it, exercises that focus on the back of the legs there. So please pick the exercises that are best suited to you. You can do them anywhere. All you need is some basic equipment and sometimes just only your own body weight. If you like this video, then please subscribe to the Working Body channel right below here. And also check out theworkingbody.com for all your health, fitness and nutrition related information.